Tage Thompson has had an unusual road to stardom for being as good of a player as he is, but it's only right that such a unique player has a unique path. Tage Thompson was a first-round draft pick by the St. Louis Blues in 2016. 3 seasons later, he was a bottom six forward for the Buffalo Sabres. 3 seasons after that, he was the team's top scorer. And now, he's playing the best he ever has, being named to his first ever All-Star game and competing for the Rocket Richard Trophy. Today we look at Tage Thompson's NHL career thus far, from first-round pick to bust to NHL superstar. Tage was drafted out of the University of Connecticut, where he scored 14 goals and 32 points in 36 games. He was ranked joint 76th in men's D1 hockey scoring. Scouting reports indicated that he was a scorer with an excellent shot, but had many other tools that needed development. Tage projected as a late first or early second-round pick. The Blues were the team to select him late in the first, understandably, as they were a team that could afford to wait on his long-term development. Tage played 2 full seasons before becoming an NHL regular. The first season was split between the University of Connecticut and the AHL Chicago Wolves. He wasn't particularly impressive on either squad, with only marginally better production in his second year on the Huskies. After their season closed in March, he was officially signed to his ELC and assigned to the AHL. Thompson had 2 points in 16 regular season games there, and 2 goals and 1 assist in 10 playoff games. Tage made his NHL debut the next year, although he was by no means a regular yet, spending most of his year bouncing between the Blues NHL squad and the newly relocated AHL affiliate San Antonio Rampage. By the end though, Tage had carved out a bottom 6 skill role for himself on the Blues, playing the final 19 games of his season with the big club. After a decent first year as part of the Blues organization, it looked like there was a chance that Tage could stick as a middle 6 forward within the Blues organization. But when Ryan O'Reilly became available to St. Louis, the opportunity was too good to pass up. On July 1st, 2018, the St. Louis Blues traded Tage Thompson, along with Patrick Berglund, Vladimir Sobotka, a conditional 2019 first, and a 2021 second, to the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for Ryan O'Reilly. At the time of the deal, the most valuable asset going back to Buffalo was the first. Tage had some value but was more of a throw-in prospect than the centerpiece of the trade. St. Louis garnered heavy praise for pulling off what was considered an excellent deal, and O'Reilly would go on to win the Stanley Cup with the Blues the very next season. Meanwhile, Tage Thompson was still trying to prove himself. He played 65 games in his first season with the Buffalo Sabres, although again was assigned to the AHL for a part of the season. In that time, he at least proved he was too skilled for the AHL, scoring 9 points and 6 goals in 8 games with the Rochester Americans. But just like St. Louis, Thompson was playing only around 12 minutes a night, yet to have earned or be entrusted with real responsibility. Injuries derailed all of Thompson's next year, as he only got 1 game in with the Sabres in the NHL. He did play another 16 games in the AHL in 2019-20, scoring 12 points in those games. A recent report from Elliot Friedman indicates that it was somewhere in this time frame that Tage Thompson was again available to be traded. The Buffalo Sabres reportedly offered him to an anonymous contending team for a 5th-round pick. The contending team declined. Clearly, nobody had much confidence in Tage Thompson anymore, despite him being only 22 years old and proving he had NHL-level skill. But even the most optimistic of fans would have had no idea what he was about to become. 2020-21 was the year where Tage Thompson began to show his potential at the NHL level. He got extra opportunities, averaging just about 2 full minutes more than his previous full season. With that extra ice time, Thompson scored 14 points in 38 games, including a run of 4 points in 4 games to close out the season. The stats didn't indicate anything particularly impressive, but it looked like the Sabres could have a potential 20 to 25 goal scorer on their hands. Tage was shooting the puck much more, and was given chances on the power play, in which 2 of his 8 goals were scored. With his great shot and decent puck skills, Tage Thompson was looking like an excellent complementary piece on the roster going forward. Naturally, Tage destroyed all expectations anyone could have reasonably had for him in 2021-22. He got 4 minutes of average ice time more than ever before, and with that, he shot the puck more than ever and scored more than 4 times above last year. His official final scoring tally was 38 goals and 30 assists in 78 games, placing Tage joint 54th in league scoring and 73rd in league points per game. Nobody could have possibly predicted this level of a breakout season, despite the signs that there may have been more to his game. The question now was, is this a fluke year, or was Tage Thompson legit? The Buffalo Sabres put their faith in the latter, as they extended Tage on a 7-year, $50 million contract prior to 2022-23. With such a miraculous breakout year the season prior, many were skeptical about the price and term of the extension. And that brings us to this season, where Tage Thompson once again proved everybody wrong. It's hard to see how anybody is going to be doubting Tage Thompson ever again. Tage has 36 goals and 70 points in 53 games, and has become one of the best players in the NHL. This season he showcased high-end skill, and has had some incredible individual moments, most notably with his 5-goal game against the Columbus Blue Jackets in December. He's 8th in league scoring, 3rd in goals scored, and should the Sabres push further towards a playoff spot, he should be among consideration for the Hart Trophy. Tage Thompson, somehow, has become an NHL superstar. He barely got the chance to prove himself in St. Louis before he was traded away. In Buffalo, he looked decent for some time, but never really anything special, until he exploded into a star, and now into a truly elite talent. At one point, even the Sabres didn't believe in him, reportedly offering to get rid of him for just a 5th-round pick. The story of Tage Thompson is a story that shows that some players just need some time. Some players just need the right opportunity. For a team that was planning a rebuild around pieces such as Rasmus Dahlin and Dylan Cousins, the Buffalo Sabres lucked into one of the most dynamic scorers in the NHL today, and he's going to be a Sabre for at least another 7 years.